Here in the bottom left, we have from Team Alternate Attacks, Carlo Gianocco. Wait, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Gianocco.
Gianocco.
Lauren would probably know how to pronounce that. She's got a little bit of Italian in her.
That's right.
It's not a word, it's a name.
It's a name.
Carlo Gianocco.
Gianocco.
Lauren's very salty today.
It is Cloud. He goes by Cloud. Just call him Cloud. Don't worry about calling him Carlo or Mr. Gianocco or anything. He's a great Terran player, of course, hailing from the land of Italy.
Bobbity boopy.
In the top right, we have from Team Evil Genius's Raycall. You saw him last night in one of the most interesting games I've seen, I think, all year against Galaxy in his previous games. It's Puma, the NASL Season 1 and Season 2 champion. Puma is our pick. Entombed Valley is a map that all kinds of TVT styles are viable. Ben, I'm actually very excited because Entombed Valley usually provides good games.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we've seen some really great gameplay on Entombed, certainly in the mirror. And I really hope we can see some exciting fresh playstyles out of these guys. Reaper Expand, an all-time favorite of mine, Dan. I'm hoping to see some gas geysers go down.
And not even some Reaper expands, but I mean, I know for a while in Korea server, people were experimenting with the idea of going triple Reaper into Blue Flame Hellion and going for massive early game damage while using Reapers to distract and Blue Flame Hellions to run by. This was when everyone was still enamored with going fast expand. This is before everyone reverted back to one base gas openings. But we do see a very early expand from Cloud. He is the macro player, hailing back from Brood War. This guy has been around for a long time, and he knows the importance of establishing his early passive play.
Yep, Command Center first. Puma has gone Barracks and then Gas. So I'm pretty excited to see exactly what he has in store for us. He's going to make at least one Marine before he throws down any additional tech. And it is going to be a gas follow-up from Cloud as well. So the early gas after the Command Center first tells us that he probably wants to get some, at least open up his factory tech.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to stay on Marines too terribly long just because, again, you release the amount of map control your opponent can have. He can have Banshees, Hellions. Well, he will have more units than you because you went for Command Center first. And that kind of stuff really makes you in the dark, and the only way to be sure is to spend a scan or even just attack up and try to make sure to go for a quick Viking. That's what some players like Gumiho like doing from Team FXO. Ben, I think on Entombed Valley, though, I want to point out something interesting is that Entombed Valley is probably the best map that Blizzard has made that's stayed into the map pool. If you kind of consider everything else, would you agree? Because people have been saying, like, you know, when they first thought Entombed Valley came out, they're like, wow, this map's so easy for 3 bases. But don't you feel like even though people have a lot of complaints, it's played out pretty well considering the metagame?
Yeah, I think once the spawn positions were addressed, obviously if both players spawn at the bottom or both players spawn at the top, it's really awkward to share a 4th base. But when you eliminate those close spawns, I think this becomes a fantastic map. And it is one of the better maps that Blizzard has made. And I'm actually excited at the prospect of their mapping team becoming much more, I guess, aware of what the tournament players want to play on and what the community wants to see.
Not every map can be Ohana, though, Ben.
That is very true, sadly.
Puma is going for Banshee opening, very standard. Puma does like harassing a lot. At the same time, Cloud, of course, teching up to Factory as fast as he can, but just look at how far behind he is by a good minute and a half worth of production in terms of teching. Puma, is he going to go for Cloak? He saved up enough gas for it as well. And a Cloak opening against this style from Cloud is going to be pretty effective, considering that Cloud doesn't have an engineering bay. He's spending all of his resources in getting out a quick starport. And he's also getting early Hellions. This is actually a very interesting follow-up that we don't see all the time after Command Center first.
Yeah, I don't really know what I think about this, Dan. I guess he's going to be trying to get the Banshee around in the back, or maybe the Banshee in the natural, run the Hellions past, do some damage in that way. But the problem with Cloud's logic here is that he's just sort of assuming that he's playing against somebody who's going to be on 2 bases. Now, Puma is just now throwing down his natural command center, but what he's actually been investing in here in the early game is getting a lot of tech out. He's already got a starport down. His first Banshee's out of the map, and Cloak's about to finish up. So, wow. Puma's not very spread out. He's not going to be all that spread out for a while, and he's got a great potential to do some great harass. Now, Cloud is getting a Raven. I love that. That is going to give some sort of insurance against these Cloak Banshees.
Yes, he is going for a Raven, but the only thing that kind of troubles is the Raven can detect, but does Cloud have units to shoot the Banshee? He's got 2 Marines, and one Banshee can kite 2 Marines very easily. And that's the only situation that Cloud might have trouble with. The 3rd Commander also scouted immediately, halted in production. Cloud needs to be able to squeeze out a couple more anti-air units, most notably a Viking. He's starting one immediately. But until then, instant auto turret. Maybe a little bit too soon, though. Maybe need to protect his mineral line a little more explicitly, but still a good idea from Cloud. And he will be okay. It's just about how many SCVs will he lose.
I mean, he's not going to lose the game. He's going to lose a ton of economy, though. Cloud trying to repair, but that's not really helping him at all. Already 10 kills on this Banshee.
Goodness.
Viking is going to come out, but oh my lord, the damage is just catastrophic. 15 kills now. And more still to come. This Banshee has been absolutely cost-effective. There goes the Cloak, but with the Raven out, it doesn't matter all that much. The final kill count, 17 on the Banshee. 18 workers in total have died. And Cloud, he just got smacked, Stan.
Yeah, he got sucker punched from behind because he was kind of preparing for that Banshee, but it was a relatively quick one. It wasn't a gas first Banshee, but still Puma able to get a nice amount of damage, and the worker count does favor Puma. Oh, and Puma even has Marine tank already. Even though the Hellions do get a nice shot because they were controlling the watchtower.
Wow, a lot of Marines get roasted there. And Puma might actually not be able to hold this position out in the center of the map. He's going to continue trying to push forward, though. Another auto turret's going to go down. But, and it's actually going to be more than enough to repel the initial Puma aggression.
Yeah, and of course, Cloud is just trying to weaken the position of the tanks, like just basically whittle down the Marines. That way tanks can't siege outside his base and have a really strong anchor point. Cloud, of course, wants a 3rd command center. He wants to get ahead of his opponent. And if he can get that 3rd CC in a reasonable time, there's really nothing that Puma can really do to cover himself back up unless he wants to go for a follow-up 2-base push, because he's getting his 3rd command center as at the same time. So I think Cloud's able to still play this really well despite him losing those early workers. If he can get a comfortable macroeconomic production cycle, he's going to be just fine.
Well, Cloud's early build was so much greedier than Puma's, and he was able to get such a great initial economy out that even after losing 19 SCVs, he's not out of the game. It's 44 Harvesters for Puma against 40 for Cloud, so pretty close in spite of all that. In spite of all those Banshee kills, it's still pretty close. It also looks like Cloud wants to be the meching player. He's putting down his 3rd factory. His armory is in place. We're probably going to see him getting some mech upgrades. So he's going to be relying on this big, kind of slow, one-punch army.
Yes. Mech is awesome on Entombed Valley just because you can cover paths really easily. There's only a few paths that are backdoor, most notably around these secret hallways and to the left and right. And if you just put a couple sensor towers, you can cover almost everything, and you just have to push down to one path. It's a really nice way to cover all your defenses that way. Meanwhile, Bio is another way you can play Bio Tank. It's just a little bit trickier because you can't really engage the mech army for a while. There is a time you can strike before they get a siege tank count up. It's just that Puma, it's kind of tough because you're supposed to be ahead in bases when you play Bio, right? Mech's supposed to be slower expanding. They need more gas. And if you play anything barracks-based against that, you should be expanding much more aggressively.
Well, I mean, you raise a pretty good point. Puma is landing this 3rd command center right now. I wouldn't be very surprised to see him just drop a 4th command center immediately, though. I think it's something that's kind of in line with the way that he likes to play, and he is going to have a bit of a mineral swell here when he starts working on that triple mule. He is going out on the map once more. I don't know if he's actually planning on picking a fight somewhere, if he just wants to take a little bit of map control back from Cloud. Back from Cloud. Cloud's army is it's pretty big. He's got about 70 army supply against the 50 of Puma's. It's pure siege tank Hellion right now.
He does have a Raven, which might actually be very useful considering there are more than a few Marauders here, 5 of them. And blocking 2 volleys can protect his siege tank line considerable amount. Just like you said, Ben, I think Cloud is sitting in a nice position, and there's nothing really that Puma should be able to do to confront it. Puma just trying to exert map control because you don't want to give space to the Hellions. Because if this Hellions denying information, then you don't know what tanks are pushing. 'Cause TVT, as much as it is about macro and micro, it's more about positioning and being able to fight on better terms than your opponent.
We're very politely killing the rocks that would lead up to eventually a Cloud expansion. So,
how do you politely kill a rock? How do you politely kill a rock then?
well, I mean, it's just
Can I kill you, please? Thank you.
That's the base that Cloud's going to want to take later on, and if this game gets if this game becomes drawn out, Cloud will happily thank Puma for knocking out those rocks so that he doesn't have to.
Gotcha. It's a gentleman's expansion, right there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, kinda.
Nice.
It was just a gesture. Hello, friend. I see you're playing the same race as me. Have an expansion.
Or maybe just a actually, hold that thought. We do see a big amount of units moving out towards the middle of the map, directly into the tank line. Puma's not there to protect the tanks, really, just a couple of Marauders, but that should make Cloud extremely suspicious. Why do you have just your tanks here? Does that mean your units are charging towards my base? And the answer is yes, a resounding yes.
That is exactly what it means. Cloud's third base immediately forced to lift. There are a lot of Marines in this army. I think more than enough to kill this third command center, and that's exactly what happens.
And
A lot
Puma
of
can just lift and run
as well, and that's exactly right. He can lift and run, or he can lift and drop in the main base, and I think that might actually be more in line with what Puma wants to do.
Ooh, 2 Vikings gets picked off, and the Raven, that's huge, because that's the spotting units for Cloud. He does have 2 more Vikings, and Puma, he's loading up the high health point medevac. Very nice job, although he is looting up almost all of them. This is risky, Ben.
He is going to go right over. Marines doing a great job of scaring away the Vikings. Medevacs want to try and unload. Cloud has his Hellions in position, but will it matter? This is mostly Marauders, and those Hellions just getting crushed. A couple of tanks going to be picked off as well. This is some really nice play out of EG's Puma.
Yeah, I mean, during this entire time, he stalled for so many minutes because he's able to get his own production cycle up. And the cool thing is Puma did this all with very poor upgrades. He had 1-1. All of his upgrades are finishing up now, and he's able to get into good position, and as a result, Cloud's army has been cut into half. His production has been stalled by 33% because his third command center died, and Cloud is gonna have to play passive again because Puma controls the map.
Yeah, Puma has so much control. He killed some workers, he killed some expansions, and he has got a massive bio army back behind this. He does have a 4th command center finished as well, so the ball firmly in Puma's court right now. He's pushing forward with a couple more Marines and Marauders, and the army of Cloud, not as scary as it once was. It has been thinned out substantially.
Yeah, no, there's only a few tanks, and even if they're all jumbled on kind of the right side. That means Puma can just attack the ramp directly, and that's exactly what he's doing. The Hellions can't really hold for much longer. Puma coming in at a very rapid pace, and I don't even think that he can even save this command center for very long. He's at least going to have to repair it, maybe lift it. Oh, never mind. There's not a lot of tanks are finally on sieging.
Puma wants to pick off more of these expensive mech units. Kills a Thor, kills a couple of tanks. And another good attack from Puma. Recycles all that bio, kills a lot of Cloud's very, very expensive mech units. And Cloud still reeling to recover with only 57 SCVs spread across these 2 bases. And his main running out of money, his natural running out of money, his third base is only just now going down. Once more, another fight in the middle of the map, Dan.
Yeah, just needs to split up his units very nicely, just stutter stepping towards his opponent. Puma deals with the huge tank out, and that was the only thing going in favor of Cloud. Puma able to play this trade and blow style very nice, as there's nothing really that Cloud can do. GG gets called out, and Puma takes game number 1 with his excellent vintage style Puma TVT.
Yeah, just very solid bio play against Cloud. Puma didn't make mistakes. Cloud, I don't really want to say he made mistakes. He just got a little bit outmaneuvered, a little bit outplayed.
I feel like Puma was able to bait a lot of units out because the tanks really stall for a lot of time. And like in that case, also, Cloud doesn't know how many units are actually there. He just sees the tanks firing at him. So vision played a big key as well. And I like that Puma was focused. He says, attack the third, and from there I have the option of either escaping if he's well defended or attack the main. And from there he was able to hit the heart of Cloud.
That game was brought to you guys by LABite.com, a gourmet food delivery service serving the Los Angeles and Orange County areas. Head over to LABite.com to place your order today and use the promo code NASL. For more info on LABite, check out this short commercial.